Hi, Russ here. It's UFO Paranormal TV and Flying Saucer Television, and I have Angela tonight on the show, who's a spiritualist and demonologist. And so, can you tell us how did you get into spiritualism and demonology, please?
The spiritualism part started out when I was really young. I was about 7, and it was really hard dealing with the things that I was dealing with, not knowing really anything on how to deal with it. I was probably in my late 20s, early 30s when I started studying and uh, getting more education about spiritualism and how to deal with negative entities. Um, it was kind of hard. And then I took some classes, and in my late 30s became a demonologist. That's part of the story. That's the quick version.
Right, yeah. So what was happening to make you want to get into that field then? What was happening around you that made you want to do that?
I was experiencing a lot of darker entities early on when I was young. It was like dark shadows and things like that. I would see spirits and things like that. And at that age, you just don't understand what's going on. Um, so you do what you can. You talk to your parents, and they understand, but they don't know, you know how to deal with that. So you're on your own uh, on how to deal with things.
So I
And
take
that's
it when you told your parents and your parents didn't really believe.
Well, my dad is Native American. He does believe in spirits. My my mom, she's a seer. So they kind of did understand. They just didn't know how to help with any of that. So it was kind of like I was on my own. How do you do that? My dad and my mom are Christians, and they everything is solved with prayer, right?
Yeah.
Not always. Um, Sometimes you have to do more than just pray. And I came to the conclusion that I needed to educate myself, and so that's what I did.
Right. So, what kind of things were you seeing then? What kind of things? What?
Well, the first thing that I saw was those shadow figures when I was really young. That was hard. Um, and they have followed me. At this point, I can get rid of them, but I'm afraid if I did try to get rid of that, um, it might change a few other things that I can't. I can't. Um, I can't risk losing a lot of my gifts and things like that. Um, so I'm hoping that I can keep them at bay and just keep working and helping people understand um, what they're going through and how I can help them. Um, oh, wonderful. Sorry, here comes some dogs. Um, I'm on location. So that was the problem today. Um, so anyway, I started seeing more and more spirits, and that created a whole new problem, and learning how to deal with them. Um, it didn't. It was really hard up until a few years ago, about 20 years ago, and I finally learned that we actually have control over these things, and So that's my goal in my life now, is to show people that they have control over um, how they deal with these different things, the spirits, whether it be human or otherwise, or negative spirits, um, because there are those things. And then the negative entities like demons and things, those associated with that area. Um, that's what my job is. That's what I do on a daily basis, sometimes 7 days a week, and it is rough.
Right. So, do you actually, it's like if you hear of somebody who has an haunted house and are having these spirits or demons, basically in their own. So, do you actually go and get rid of the demons?
Yes.
And wow,
Yes. We go to locations. Today it's a hotel, and we try to resolve whatever issue that is. A lot of people think that you smudging is going to do the trick. Smudging, unless you know how the steps, that's not even going to do. That's not going to do anything. When it's something negative or demonic, we can go on location to handle. If it's just the home, if it's a person, we have I have a location that we actually do these things in, and I would rather do it at my shop than say someone's home, where I can contain it and pretty much lock it up. In someone's home, if I have to do it in someone's home, I have to pack all of my tools up and then do it like that, which is not a big problem. I'm sorry. Which is not really a big problem, but it's just, it makes my job a little harder when you're trying to control the situation and the people in the situation. A lot of people don't know how hard it is. They want to bring their kids, and I'm like, no, you need to take your kids outside the home. You can't have visitors while we're doing this. That's not done. It's dangerous.
yeah. Well, I would have thought that, some person that was going through demons would not want the children or anybody else in the family around.
Well, you know what? The people are not well educated about these things. They just not, and trying to get them to understand what's going on. The test involved. I mean, sometimes drug use can actually mimic being possessed. Mental health problems can actually mimic being possessed. So it's really hard for people to understand that, there's steps to just to get to that point. There's steps to get there. They think that it should be done just like that, when that's how they see it on TV, and in reality that's not how it's done in real life.
No. Yeah, I know what you're saying, because it's the same thing that I come across, where you've got the TV, you've got the TV, and you've got what they perceive as, UFOs and paranormal, and you've got real life, which, to be quite honest, doesn't really
So different.
Quite
So
different,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We stay quite busy. I have a wonderful team. It's not just myself. If it's paranormal, I have a full team. we're completely prepared for anything. If it is going into a home concerning a negative entity, I just have 4 people that come with me, and it's just as much to protect me. I have 2 big guys, ex-military, come in, and they help keep me safe.
Yeah. Well, I couldn't imagine, because it's something that I haven't come across that part, of paranormal. So I'll take your word for it. I suppose you want, sort of like ex-military and not necessarily big, because I know some little dudes that would, sort of like put big dudes in a basket, sort of.
And sometimes it's the little ones that kind of catch you off guard. It's
This
it's
is it,
it's rough. And then you have this negative that is actually controlling things, and they're more powerful than you think they are. So it's like, okay, here we go. And so the guys really are there to kind of keep me from getting hurt, because if I get hurt and I can't finish what I'm doing, they could get hurt and other people could get hurt.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And so, would you say that there's anything that you've come across that's been maybe very hard to resolve or get rid of, that's still
Yeah.
lurking out? Would you say you know of anything?
Yeah, there's an old hospital in this little teeny tiny town in the middle of nowhere. Um, there's an entity in there that almost got the best of me, but like I said, if it wasn't for my team, they got me out of there. They got me out of there, and that was the big thing. And then we were able to kind of regroup and go back in and try it again. And yeah, it's still there.
Is this hospital, is it still up and running, or is it something that's abandoned?
It's closed down. The bottom part has like offices in it. The best I could do is just contain it to the top part where the offices aren't.
I see.
Yeah.
Because I've come across about, it must have been about let's see, about 15 years ago. I came across something which unbelievable, really, and that was that there was an hospital that my mum was in, and when the nurse knew that I'd been on television talking about UFOs, aliens, and ghosts, one of them came up to me and said, "You do know that one of the walls is closed down because of a ghost?"
Wow.
And I said, "No." And they said, "Yeah." And they told us this ward being closed down because of paranormal activity, and they had to go down a level, and nobody, because I always thought, why is it that nobody goes up to the next level? And they said it's because it's haunted by something very, very nasty, and for the safety of the people and the nurses, that they don't go near. And I couldn't believe it. And I almost get in touch with one of the nurses that I knew quite well and try to get, sort of like my small team in there and see what. But with it being, a working hospital, I don't think that's going to happen.
I think you would be surprised on how many hospitals are haunted. I mean, if you think about it, how many people have passed in there, how much energy are they? um, how much energy is in that location. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I think most hospitals are, whether they're open or closed. I do know of one house that was actually torn down because it was so severely haunted. It was pretty bad.
wow.
This was I don't know, about 10 years ago. Yeah.
That's unbelievable. But you see, the thing is, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised because you do hear every so often snippets of information about things like this, but you think to yourself, is it really true? But you know, I'm always wary.
Sometimes I wonder, during COVID was really hard. I don't know if this answers that, but it was almost like, people wanted entertainment and they would do anything to get that entertainment. And one of those things, was calling paranormal teams and to get them in to investigate, just to see if there was anything in their home. Um, sorry.
So
Um,
I know what you're saying, though. I
it's
know what
really
you're saying.
hard to
I
get
suppose
people.
it was a little bit like cabin fever. You
Yeah,
know, people
yeah,
couldn't get out. People were being locked up, and that's what we was. You know,
yeah,
if you look at the honesty about it, we was locked up. You know, for like 2 years by the government. Anyway, don't get me started there,
well,
I'll get back in prison again.
it made me change protocol whenever we actually do intake on anything. It made me change the protocol on what is needed for us to actually go out, because I mean, that was kind of a lot to deal with, you know.
I do know. Yeah, terrible situation for people to be in, and all caused by government around the world. But anyway. Yeah. So, what would you say was any worst kind of entity or apparition that you come across? You know, did it have a look of anything?
The worst one was, when one of the team members actually was overtaken by a negative entity. That was interesting. Um, that was a lot. Um, it was kind of violent,
Wow.
and it's still hard to talk about today.
Yeah, because I know I've seen people change myself. You know, mannerisms, totally different person. You know, when
Yeah,
something,
that's what it was like.
not that person. And the problem is, there's always the worry that thing might be still there lurking.
Yeah.
You know,
We are actually slated to go back to this location on the 18th.
wow.
The 29th, not the 18th. We're slated to go back to this location that happened. Yeah.
And is
So,
that person that was taken over and they went back with you?
yeah, they're going.
Really?
Yeah.
They're pretty brave.
Or stupid. Just pick one. Or maybe
Wow.
both, brave and stupid, because they can coincide. Yeah.
That is amazing. I mean, if something like that happened to me, I think I'd be miles away. I just,
I
I
have
wouldn't even be talking about it, never mind about still being involved.
I have a really close knit team. We are a ride together, die together type team, and I'm very, very fortunate.
That's incredible. It really is. Being to keep somebody so enthusiastic that's happened to them, you know, sort of like, yeah. Commendable.
We have fun, and then we have those, you know, moments where I don't know. It's a terrible way to put it, but my husband would put it this way: it's a butt puckering, the butt puckering moments.
I know what you're saying, yeah. Wow, that's incredible. What else can I ask you? So, would you say that with yourself being part American or Native American, would you say that a lot of the entities that you're coming up against are sort of like to do with traditional sort of entities around, you know, sort of like Native Americans in that area?
You have to lock yourself down so that way you're not constantly bombarded with everything. Whenever you're so open, it's kind of hard. So I think this is what you're asking me. How do I keep that from happening?
Well, what I mean is, would you say that there's a lot of things that are going on that traditionally Native American in that area, or would you say it might be something that maybe somebody else has come along and with a different outlook and have been messing about with spirit and cause something
Like
from
in the hospital?
Well, no, I mean anyway.
Honestly, I think what causes real hot spots, I think what causes it is energy, what we put there. And the more energy that these things can feed off of, the more they're going to want to flock to that location. Right. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So if you have a lot of happy energy, you're going to have a lot of, you know, spirit that are more happy-go-lucky, and they're just there to soak it up and do their thing. If you have a lot of negative energy, like if someone is constantly being tormented or abused or whatever, that's going to amplify that type of energy, and the negative entities will feed off of that kind of location.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's really hard to get people to understand. Whenever you go in and to cleanse a home, that's a blank slate. So whatever happens there, you're going to have to fill that back up with the energy that you want there. And if that energy is constant negative or holler and screaming or abuse of any kind, well, you're inviting that type of energy there, and you're just going to reap the benefits of that. That's what I tell everybody when I go in to do any kind of cleansing of their homes or them or person.
Yeah. And have you seen a specific house or location or person that has been, let's say, conjuring up these things?
Yep.
And it's got the better of it.
Yep. There was a location, a home in Oklahoma. It was we knew something was going on. We just couldn't put our finger on it, and we wasn't being told the truth. And I walked through. Kind of a sensitive when it comes to things like that. So we were doing this walkthrough, and there was this one bedroom that was just causing all of this chaos. And I walked in there, and I'm like, I knew. I don't know how I knew. I can't explain it, but I knew that the person in there was doing some dark magic. And she was, I think, 16, 17, and rebelling against the parents. And I'm like, okay. And I took her to the side to talk to her, and I tried to get her to understand that when you're dabbling in something negative like that, and she was having a hard time herself, but she didn't understand because she's a kid. Um, well, the negative is going to come in there and it's going to create problems. It's going to start hurting people. And we're talking bite marks. We're talking being attacked in your bed. We're some bad stuff. And so the day that we got there and we went to cleanse the house, I told her, I was like, I can do this, but I'm wasting my time if you keep doing what you're doing. If you keep what you're doing going on, I won't be back. I will not help anymore. She took all of her stuff and she bagged it up. All of the negative stuff that she had, she bagged it up and she gave it to me. I took it with me. I cleansed the house. Haven't heard from them since. I always do a checkup a week later, 2 weeks later, a month later, and then 3 months later. And during that time, everything was wonderful. I haven't heard from them. It's been probably about 2.5 years now.
Wow. That's amazing. Amazing. But yeah, I mean, I've come across people that, seem to think it's good to be able to sort of like go down the dark side. And to be honest, all I've ever seen was like chaos, what it's called.
Yeah, it is chaos, and they're inviting it in. So it's kind of hard. We don't charge for our services until COVID, and then we started having people to make a deposit, so that way we wasn't being taken advantage of. And it was just like everything dropped off, things got back to normal, and now I don't require that. The only thing I require is if I have to drive over 50 miles, that they pay for my gas. Because that's expensive.
Well, of course it is. And I mean, to be quite honest, some years ago, I went on an investigation where it was like supposed to be a land of flying saucer. And it was almost 100 miles away from where I live. So when you work out getting from A to B and back is 200 miles.
Yep.
It was 200 miles in gas. And we got this, it was very mysterious. It was like almost like cloak and dagger. This is where it was, the area, the photograph. And here's how you get. And to be honest, we spent a day. And so we had to get food when we was out and what have you. We spent petrol on it. And at the end of the day, almost felt like we'd been sort of like hoodwinked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we've been there, we couldn't find this. You go down this road, this location, there's this area, and it was like a wasted day and out of pocket, and it's what people don't realize. Sort of
they don't. Especially when you're dragging like people with you and your equipment, and then I mean you hope and pray that you don't forget anything, and then you get there and it's like, come on. I don't know. If it were their time, I guarantee you we'd be charged.
Oh yeah.
We'd be charged.
I totally agree with you. So you've got to be really careful. So I've got so many of my own, what I'm filming. I don't really need to get anybody else in that respect. But I know you said you were busy and you could only do half an hour, and we're just coming up to that half an hour mark now.
Well, I appreciate you inviting me on. If I didn't, if I didn't have prior engagement, I would have do the whole hour for you.
No problem. Well, it's been great to have you on the show. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much.
Right, Angela. Yeah. So thanks for coming on the show, and I hope everything goes well today. And have a good, time where you are now.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, take care. Bye. Good night.